Source Pro in Conversation is brought to you in association with Leapin, Australia's leading plan manager and two-time winner of the Most Outstanding Plan Management Award. Visit leapin.com.au to learn more.
Hello my friends, my name is Caleb Brixton and I am so excited to be here hosting this Ask a Plan Manager session with the incredible Rachel Elleray. Now, Rachel is from Leapin, so Australia's leading NDIS plan manager. Leapin, it's a purpose-driven organisation that exists to help people with disability and their families get the absolute most out of their NDIS plans. Now, we all know that navigating the NDIS can feel like learning a whole new language, let's be real. And when it comes to plan management, there's still a lot of confusion about what it actually involves, what it doesn't, and how families and providers can get the most out of it. From real-time budget tracking and invoice support and helping families stay across the latest NDIS changes, which there are many, Leapin is about more than just admin. They are here to walk alongside families, providers and therapists every single step of the way. Now, in this session, we're going to be covering everything from what a plan manager actually does to the most common invoice mistakes, tips to getting paid faster, and how therapists can support families to understand and use their plan budgets more effectively. Please welcome Rachel. Hello.
Hey, Cal.
It's so good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
Now, Rachel, can you sort of demystify for me, what does a plan manager actually do?
Absolutely. So a plan manager, think of us more like accountants, the finance people when it comes to your NDIS. We basically send invoices to NDIS for approval. We basically go through and check the compliance for the rules and the regulations. So then that way the invoices are being processed according to your plan. Everyone's plan is individual and very personalised. So what might be approved for one person might not necessarily be compliant for another person. So we have to consider those things, and it's quite a big role prior to it even hitting NDIS.
It's a huge role.
Yes.
We've talked about what it does do.
Yes.
What doesn't it do?
Okay, so as plan managers, one thing that we need to sort of put out there, we do not make the decisions of what goes into a plan. That is NDIS. NDIS are the ones who decide what the plan is, what budgets go into it, and we can't change that. So we don't have any control over that. We just help support our members with their plans that they've been given by NDIS.
Ah, it's all about supports and plans. So what is the difference between plan management and support coordination?
Okay, so often, gets a bit mixed up sometimes, so it's always good to clarify. So plan managers, the finance side of things, so we process the invoices and we pay the invoices when they've been approved.
Right.
And of course, once the funds are released from NDIS, that's when we can pay the providers. But support coordinators are the ones who help participants to navigate their plans in a way that they understand their budgets, they do forecasting, and they also connect them to the providers. And then the providers send us the invoices to process. So support coordinators connect participants to providers, and then we provide the invoicing infrastructure and finance for the providers.
Totally makes sense. So can you give us a bit of a quick rundown on how invoices are processed from your end?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the beautiful things about Leapin is that the way that our system's set up is that providers send invoices to our invoices@leapin.com.au inbox, and then what we do is that system picks up the invoice, it checks for any compliance or maybe missing information, automates it to the accounts software, and then in some instances, if it's all good to go and everything's perfect, gets a quick review and then goes off to NDIS. Super quick system, but in some instances doesn't always happen that way. There could be missing information or issues, or maybe things aren't quite aligning, and that's when the accounts review team get to look at it and make sure that it complies. So, yeah.
Ah, right. So it sounds like quite complex and that there's some common issues that come up. So what are some of those common mistakes that you see on your end?
Believe it or not, sometimes ABN numbers are not on the invoice, and so that's a big one. So it's really important.
It's quite helpful to have one on there.
It is lovely. But we understand there's amazing providers out there. They're providing these wonderful services, and sometimes the admin side gets a little bit it's not the priority, or it's a bit hard to. And so what we do is we try to support providers that are helping our members by providing them with the extra information of things that they need to keep on their invoice, such as their business information, making sure one of the biggest mistakes that we notice or issues that comes up is NDIS number and the participant's name doesn't always match. Yes, or if there's a particular, like maybe a service date is on a weekday, like a Wednesday, but the rate that they're charging is for a Saturday. That happens. So it's not aligning with compliance of NDIS and things like that. So we do highlight. Also calculation errors, something so simple. So the total's not matching what's needed.
It's just a functional
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So therefore, what are your top 3 tips for getting paid quickly by your plan manager?
Definitely make sure all your information's on there, your business information as well as your client's information, very important. And of course, make sure everything calculates correctly, and obviously if there's anything that your service, like the service that you're providing, a description, because it needs to be relative to the service you're providing for that participant's plan, so we'll be able to correlate and make sure it all aligns and matches.
Right. So on that notion of service provision, what's one thing that that you wish that every therapist knew about, like, plan management?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we'd love for therapists to sort of keep in mind is that our role is to help with the administrative side of things when it comes to the NDIS plan, helping them to sort of to have that, so then it's done separately, it's quicker, processing invoices, getting that sort of all flowing and functioning really, really well. And it makes it so much easier on the providers, so then that way they can keep providing their wonderful services that they are, and the therapists can, make the right sort of decisions and support better. And so, one of the things that we do is make sure that things flow and just make it function better and faster.
Yeah, right. More efficient.
Exactly, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So I imagine that things aren't always as efficient as we want them to be, right?
No, unfortunately not.
Unfortunately.
I mean, in more ways than one.
Yeah. So is there a common, like, myth or a frustration that you'd love to clear up, like, once and for all for us?
Absolutely. I think the major one is that plan managers or LEAP-in don't hold funds. So basically, one thing that's really important to note is that NDIS holds the funds, and once the invoice is approved, they release the funds, and then we pay the providers almost immediately. So anytime that there's a delay or a hold-up, it's usually because we're waiting on NDIS to release the funds, and so it's out of our control. So we do within 24 hours at a maximum to pay providers.
Oh, okay. Amazing. So in terms of, like, thinking forward or future-proofing, there we go. What's changing in the plan management sort of landscape that allied health professionals, like, should maybe consider or keep an eye on?
Yeah, definitely. So I think one of the biggest things that is changing is that plan management fees are not increasing. It's a case of that it's staying fixed, but yet our services are staying really, really positive and focused on members, and we have a really, really big drive to keep doing and supporting and helping this industry, like the disability sector. Everything that they sort of expect is a little bit higher now, because we're having to support and help with the compliance side of things, so making sure that invoices are compliant before they go to NDIS. So the requirements that we have are greater, but yet our fees are staying the same. So the role that we play is a lot more than what we have before in the past.
It's very, like, complex and very, I guess, ideally a complementary process that you're doing. Thank you so much for all your incredible work and
It's a
tenacity.
team effort.
I imagine it is
a very big team effort.
Well, for the team, can I leap in?
Yes, please.
Thank you. I'm going to come in. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.